And a lot of times when we close one chapter and we start another, the person that we were can't come with us. They have to be left behind. Has there ever been a moment in your life where you just realized that the version of you can't come with you, can't go with you to the next chapter, to the next step, to the next phase? Today's episode is all about transformation, change to our identities, the evolution, the progression, the expansion of who we are is a real thing. And a lot of times when we close one chapter and we start another, the person that we were can't come with us. They have to be left behind because the relationships, the conversations, the ideas, the way of being, whatever it is, doesn't fit with who we are becoming and who we are in the moment during this new chapter and this new life experience. Today, I want to talk about different experiences that I've had when it comes to identity transformation and how it might be helpful for you and give you a couple of real life tools that you can use right now. Not in the future, not when you buy this or that. No, right here and right now. I want to give you the science behind it, why it works, how it works, and then I want you to add it to your toolbox if you feel like it fits and it might serve you and your future when you go through an identity transformation too. Because a lot of times to get from chapter 1 to chapter 2, we get to go through that transformation. Because if not, it would just be chapter 1, the entire book. But no, we're moving up and we're moving on to chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 7. And that's going to involve getting uncomfortable. That's going to involve getting messy. That's going to involve leaving behind what no longer serves and then training our brains and our bodies at that fact to pick up new skills, new habits, and new ways of being to match who we are becoming. Because at the end of the day, we are not broken for feeling these ways, for feeling lost, left out, alone, isolated, confused. I remember being so confused, like, what is going on with me? Nothing of that. We're not broken. It's that we're evolving and that we are meant to be feeling these things. This is all part of the journey. It's part of the process and it's part of transformation, especially when it comes to shifting your identity and from being to becoming. I want to make that super clear, from being to becoming. And I remember just a couple of years ago being in a place in my life where everything was rainbows and butterflies and sunshine, and life was good. Life was really, really good. And I felt grateful. And I still am grateful for those chapters today, right now. However, I remember being like, wait a second, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't in alignment with my values. This isn't what I see myself doing or see myself being to become the person that I want to be. And I remember being like, okay, I have this identity. I'm A, I am B, I am C. And during this specific example, during these years, these chapters, I was La Rubia, the blonde on the beach. And I would always be teaching Zumba classes. So I was the Rubia that does Zumba. And I was known by everyone with that title. Okay, that was my identity. Then I was lucky enough to get asked by a really good friend to tour around Spain with Zumba as a presenter. And so then I was really the Rubia because there's not a lot of blonde people in Spain. And at that time I had long extensions. So I had my long extensions, ponytail all the way down to my butt. And I got to be on stages all over Spain, dancing, celebrating. It was for the women's race. So they would go, they would run or walk the race to support breast cancer. And then they would come and they would dance with us. They would celebrate with us. We would celebrate them. It was like they were the stage and we were just leading the dances. I loved those memories and those moments so much. Brought so much joy to my heart. But I remember that I was really stepping into that identity of being the Rubia that does Zumba. But in my heart, there was still so much more that I wanted to give, especially when it came to move with intention. And I started studying neuroscience and I started studying emotional intelligence and NLP. And people would be like, what is that? You do the Zumba. You do the Zumba. And I'm like, I do the Zumba, but I also do other things and I like other things and I enjoy teaching other things. And I was a teacher for like 6-7 years. So I love getting the opportunity to share, to teach, because when I teach, you learn, and when you teach, I learn. And when we share together, we also both learn because we all have different maps of the world. We all experience the world in different ways, different shapes, different forms. It's not going to be the same for me as it is for you, or vice versa. And I think that's what makes being human so beautiful, when we come together and we get to meet people and be in groups, be in events. That's probably my number one reason for bringing people together. The shared ideas, the energy, the collaborations that get invented and created in those settings brings my heart so much joy. So at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all here to learn. We're all here to grow. And at the end of the day, hopefully be our best selves. And so in this, I guess you can say, chapter of my life, I realized, okay, I can let those stories and this label define who I am and what I do, and I can just be the Zumba girl, and I love it, and I still love Zumba. And when I don't do Zumba, my heart feels like craving Zumba, and just dancing in general. I love to dance. My whole family loves to dance. There's something magical about putting on the music and just breaking down a dance move. I don't know what it is. It just lights my entire body up. It gets me creative and in my flow. I'm sure you have something that gets you in your flow state too, whether that's playing an instrument, playing a sport, going out for a walk in nature. But that for me, dancing for me, it was my thing. So I wasn't willing to give up my thing, but I also knew that in this new chapter of my life, my identity was going to change. And I wasn't going to only be known for this. And people were going to be confused and they were going to have questions. And I was going to explain, or maybe I wasn't going to explain, because at the end of the day, we don't know an explanation to anyone for stopping who we're being and becoming who we are meant to be. And that's what this episode is all about. How I decided to let go of those labels, those stories, and to step into something that was so much bigger than that, so much over my head. I didn't even realize at the time what I was getting myself into. And looking back, I'm so grateful, because it has tremendously changed and shaped the outcome of my life and who I am and where I am right now, to being this totally different, best version of myself. And I'm so, so grateful. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when change is actually occurring. So to break this down, inside of your brain, inside of your nervous system, there's something called the DMN, default mode network. Okay, a lot of times they refer to this in neuroscience as your GPS, your internal GPS system. Your internal GPS system is what keeps you on track. Okay, it keeps you guided on the road that you have really nice and safely paved out in front of you. Okay, it's also something that fires off your inner voice, your inner critic, when things go right, things go wrong. You're going to hear it. This is something that plays on loop, and the more you play it, the stronger it gets. Whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, positive thing or a negative thing, neuroscience shows that the more you think a thought, the stronger the neural pathway gets. Okay, and so it's really important to notice and to be aware, and then to be able to reframe, rewire those thoughts that your default network mode is circulating at all times, because otherwise you're going to be training your brain to think a certain way about yourself when you know that that's not who you are or who you are becoming. So its ultimate job is to keep you safe and to keep you on track with who they believe that you are. Okay, and I refer to them as they, because I imagine them being like a little team in there having a little meeting, like, wait a second, Lacey set a boundary. Well, wait a second, she's speaking up for herself. This is not safe. This is not who she is. This is not in our database. Hold on a second. So literally inside, they are flagging your new behaviors, your new habits, your new thoughts, your new sayings, the things that you're doing for yourself to transform, to step into a new chapter, a new identity. Your DMN is flagging, okay? It thinks that something is wrong. But at the end of the day, nothing is wrong. You are just being flagged because your GPS system is off course, it's off road. Because this road that you are on obviously is not serving you if you have chosen to step into this next chapter and you know that your identity gets to transform with that new chapter. And so your habits, your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you react, the way that you speak, how you carry yourself and speak to others, being on a camera, for example, all of this, if this is not your norm, is going to be flagged as being dangerous or unsafe. Okay, so it's not going to be that you're doing anything wrong. You might feel like, what is going on? What is wrong? I don't know. Have you ever felt resistance? Take a second right now. I'm going to ask you, have you ever been on a journey of transforming or changing your identity and felt resistance? I can imagine that if you have taken steps to become the person that you know you're meant to be, which is outside of your norm, outside of your comfort zone, then you've done things that are not normal to your routine and to who you are. And so you've been matched with and you've been met with resistance, because resistance shows up as a red flag, like, hey, something is going on here. We need to make sure that this is safe because this is unknown territory. Okay, so it's flagging it as if it's unsafe when really it's just new. It's just new. And so all of the resistance, all of the discomfort that you're feeling as you go through these changes, as you step into new habits, new routines, new ways of speaking, whether that's internally to yourself or externally to others, and you feel the resistance, it's proof. Celebrate it. Even if it feels uncomfortable, celebrate it as proof, because things are happening. And what is actually happening, to drop some science, is neural pathways are being developed in your brain. New neural pathways. And every time you repeat that habit that's helping you become who you want to be, every time you repeat those thoughts that tell you who you are becoming, not who you used to be, you're strengthening those neural pathways. And that is making your new identity stronger and stronger and stronger. And so something really cool that I want to share with you is an exercise that you can do every single day to develop and strengthen those neural pathways and reset your default mode network to helping you instead of being against you as you transition into a new identity. So it's really simple. What I want you to do is take a piece of paper if you like to write. Otherwise, speak out loud to yourself. You can even record it with AI so it can regurgitate your summary back to you. You can read through it. You can add details to it. If you're going to use artificial intelligence, use it to your advantage. I swear it is a tool that is made to help us grow and expand. Use it in this exercise. It's going to be amazing. You're going to see amazing feedback. And if you're going to write it on paper, write it all out. Don't skip any details. I want you to write out exactly, word for word, detail by detail, who you want to be. And if you don't know who you want to be, who do you look up to? Who are your idols? Who is someone that you want to model? Do they have the same the personality that you would like to have? Do they have the success that you would like to have? Do they have the confidence that you would like to have? Find people like that. Because if you can't regurgitate those words for yourself yet, find someone else that you can take as an example to model into who you are becoming. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get all those details down. Okay? Skip nothing. Take the time, create the time to do this. It's going to make a huge difference. And I'm going to explain to you the neuroscience why. Because once you have all those details and you create a visualization out of it, you are going to replay that visualization for yourself every single day. First thing you do in the morning and last thing you do at night. Because here's the cool part. What you do in the first few minutes of your day determines the course of the rest of your day. That means the rest of your entire day. Okay, so that's why you grab your phone in the morning and you start endlessly scrolling, and then you wonder why later you feel fatigued or you feel stressed or comparison comes up. Don't grab your phone. And you wonder why you're doing this and that before you go to sleep, and then you feel like you're tossing and turning and you're restless or you're thinking about what you didn't do or what you should do. Don't repeat those patterns. Instead, have a go-to visualization. Now, this doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to buy any equipment to record anything necessarily, but what you have to do is get crystal clear on who you want to be. And that means personality, habits, appearance, what they value, their values. That's a huge one. Super, super important to know this person's values. What are your top values? Okay. I know that that's something that I've used in so many different occasions is I'm making a decision. What are my values? Do the decisions that I make reflect my values? Because if they don't, then I'm not in integrity with myself. I'm not being authentic and true to myself. Get crystal clear on your values. Write down word for word who you want to become. Even if it feels so far out of reach, like you'll never get there, write it down. Because your brain does not know the difference between imagining and imaging. I'm going to repeat that. Your brain does not know the difference. Our brains do not know the difference between imaging and imagining. So if you can get crystal clear on what you look like, how you act, the way you speak, your confidence, your energy, this, that, and the other, and you can close your eyes first thing in the morning and last thing at night and visualize that for even up to just a minute, 1 minute of a really vivid, in color, in detail visualization, then you can create it. Because now your brain, your unconscious mind has a direction. It has a goal. It knows where we're going. It sees what it thinks you are now in the future, and it knows that that's the target. That's the idea, especially when you go to sleep at night. Because while you're sleeping, your unconscious brain is working and it's doing things, especially the last thing that you feed it before you go to bed. So if you feed your unconscious mind a lot of worries and a lot of stresses and a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, that's what it's going to fixate on overnight. And no wonder we wake up tossing and turning with nightmares, because we're still half awake. Our amygdala is going off and is on alert, and we can't fully rest, recover, and sleep. But if we focus on our future selves, on the identity that we know we're on track and in line to become, then that's the focal point. That's the direction. And that makes all the difference. So this is something super simple. You don't need to go anywhere, buy anything for this. Try it out. See how it feels. You can condense it into 30 seconds. You can spread it out into 30 minutes if you want. This is your visualization to help your brain and your body get on the same page with you as you become the version of you that you know you're meant to be. I hope this was useful. If you found it useful, add the tool to your toolbox. Like I said, give it a try. Let me know. I love to hear when these things work. And I also love when we share them, because, like I said, sharing this knowledge, these skills, these tools helps all of us train our brains to help us in becoming who we know we're meant to be. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. Until then, add these tools to your toolbox and keep moving with intention.